What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your boy B. Damone and Coach Gomez.
Yep, it's going down.
Back in the hizzy.
It's going down.
Along the wire.
Yep.
It feels so good to be back in studio.
Oh, yeah, man. It's been a minute.
Yes.
It's been a minute, bro.
Yes.
There's a lot of changes in here. You know, shouts out to Joe to keeping it
Yes,
keeping
sir.
it nice and updated.
Yes, sir. Level Up Productions has got us sitting right, looking right.
Yep.
Always on the up and up.
No doubt.
Shout out to Joe, the best in the business. You know. Already. So this is episode 139 of Along the Wire, and this is all preseason. We are talking all preseason.
Yep.
All preseason. We're going to go over the top 25 preseason. Me and Coach Gomez have had several conversations about even doing a preseason.
Yeah.
Top 25. That's why I put the little questionnaire out there earlier in the week saying, you know, how would y'all want a top 25 done? Do you want it to just be top 10s, 6A, mix in 5A, no private schools, with private schools? So y'all said y'all wanted it all in there, so that's what we're doing.
Yep.
We are also going to revisit last year. I got a lot of comments on the scholarship distributions and offers within the big cities in the state of Texas. So I've got a new count for this year. So
that's going to be interesting to talk about.
Yes, very much so. And lastly, we are going to be doing, and this is the great part I like about this, is you are going to be hearing the top 30 through 11 before you see it. Before you see it. So we are ready to kick this show off. Thank you once again. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, on the YouTube page, Along the Wire. Like and subscribe, share it. And hey, we are back by popular demand. We've been hearing it. So, you know, we are doing things a little bit different now. And happy to do it. Happy to progress.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. So we are going to get into this top 25 of San Antonio, Texas for the 2022 and 23 year.
Segment number
one. So, yeah, while we have a moment, I also want to give shout outs and thanks to all of the great colleges that have been in contact and are showing San Antonio a lot of love.
Yeah, man. I mean, there was a lot of grinding. You know, this was actually the first, I would say, truly the first summer where you were back, you know, from COVID, man, because last year there was still kind of, you know, people that were holding back from going to camps and so forth. But I think this year was really, it's really full blown. You know what I mean? There was a lot more people active out there doing things.
Exactly. And, you know, Coach Gomez and I were actually on the same page. We didn't tell each other, but we both showed up to the studio with shades on.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Coach Gomez is just cool like that, but I put the shades on because the future's bright for the city.
Oh, I feel you. Gotcha. I just wear shades all the time, cuz.
So, you know, shout out to the University of Texas, UTSA, Incarnate Word, Texas A&M Kingsville, and just allowing access to your campus and being able to see these incredible athletes, young and some who are already, you know, like the transfer kids.
Yeah, shouts out to also to, like, you know, the West Texas A&Ms that came down here, you know, and went to the Madisons and had some camps, you know.
Exactly.
That was cool. Some of them D2s, D3s coming down here as well, and you know, shaking up the trees and seeing what they can come up with. So it's pretty exciting this coming season, and I'm looking forward to what it brings us. And
you know, exactly how you said, you know, that energy feels like it's almost back to I think people just don't want to say that.
Yeah.
But because you never know, you know. It truly does feel like it's back in like 2018 again. All right, let's get into it. You want to go 1 to 25 or 25 to 1?
Man, we can go 25 to 1. We'll go 25 to 1.
All right, 25. Coming in at 25, we have got the Kennedy Rockets. this is a squad last year that I'm glad to see them in the top 25 because they've gone almost decades without making the playoffs.
Yeah, it was almost like another Memorial. You know what I mean? Memorial,
Right.
of course, had a little sweeter season, but just to see Kennedy and that community back in the mix is great to see. I mean, you got some players that they're talking about in their defensive linemen, one of their linebackers. You know, you got a couple of running backs and a possible safety that are coming up. You know, so it's going to be exciting to see what Kennedy throws out at you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So.
Exactly.
I mean, that district's always a toss-up. Literally, it's always a toss-up. So it's about who wants it, who's going to commit throughout the season. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you get these guys and they'll commit for like 4 games until them grades hit, boy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you're in that community, you're in that district where grades matter, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And being committed. So that's interesting to see.
That's a very important point, and we'll probably have to talk about that at another time. But especially in like districts in which it hits, I mean, when you've got to be on top of your grades, you got to be on top of your. But that, man, that's an awesome talking point. We're gonna have to revisit that again. Number 24, the team that actually took Kennedy out in the playoffs, Southwest.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Southwest, and they are returning some good kids, but they lost an offensive lineman, their running back, forgive me, Friesenhang, I forgot to say his name, but they do have a young running back to replace him, so I'm very anxious to see how Southwest goes about this next season.
Yeah, they got a pool of kids. That's a big school, you know what I mean? So every year they're competing, always competing, so I think they'll end up remaining in the top 24, entering the first 2 games, and possibly jumping up 5 spots.
Okay. Hey. 23. We have got the Cornerstone Warriors. Cornerstone, but they finished last year 6-3. They've got quarterback now, Phil y'all ready to take the field. They got Tomaselli in the secondary.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be good to see them. I mean, because they put together a beast of a schedule. I mean, they've got to until they get a playoff. You know,
yeah. I'm interested to see what Phil Hall does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you had Lucas Coley before. You know what I mean? Had varsity experience before Lucas was the quarterback. He had varsity experience as a receiver out at Judson.
Right.
So that transition, you played in against some varsity experience, and he went to Cornerstone. Then you had Diego. Diego got a little bit of varsity experience.
Yeah.
And then of course ended up playing. So this year, I don't know if he's got any varsity experience yet, but I'm interested to see.
Exactly.
I hear a lot of good things, so we'll see once the season starts rocking and rolling.
All right, coming in at number 22, we have got the Clark Cougars.
Clark, I'm excited for Clark.
And I'm even more excited now that I finally got to see their quarterback, Nicholas Lee, at a workout this past weekend. Kid's got some talent in his arm. Nikos and Gertz. I hate saying his name.
Yeah,
wrong.
but I mean, the thing that concerns me is just the continuity.
Right.
I haven't seen them too much out in the field together or out throughout this summer working together. So there's only so much continuity you can build going into a season. You know, the season's right away.
You've got to take advantage of the off season.
Exactly. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. But, you know, as far as the running game, I'm excited.
All right. Coming in at number 21, we have got the Marshall Rams. And they are making a change. Actually, I was just on the live, and someone was asking about them going over to Northeast now. They are now in the Northeast Independent School District. What do you think about that move for them?
Man, it's going to be tough. But I think they're up for the challenge. You know what I mean? They made some noise last year. They got some they had some key returners coming back, and I think they'll be competing.
They have the twins. The twin, one's a running back. I think one's a DB.
I believe so.
I want to say, yeah. But yeah, they were a scrappy bunch, and I keep saying they were scrappy. You know, and people are like, what does that mean? That means that they will hit you in the mouth if you are not paying attention, and they will make you not underestimate them.
Yeah.
and that's what they did in Northside, and I don't expect that to change with them going over to Northeast. So like I said on the live I was on, a lot of people might think that as you go further east that the football gets better, but you also can't fall asleep and think that just because a team's coming from the north side that you're just gonna walk over them.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, number 20, we have got a school that is going to be experiencing their first chance at a playoff game, who almost pulled off a shocker over a state champion from last year. We've got the Davenport Wolves.
Hey, Davenport got some players, man.
Davenport has some players.
They got some players. They got the facilities. They got the community behind them. They got,
It's
brand new school, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It seems to be a well-oiled machine, and everybody is on the same page and has a singular focus.
Give them a couple more years, man. They'll be up there.
Exactly.
Easy.
Exactly. That's they are in the top 20.
They're in the top 25 right now, and you're top 25.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So make sure y'all are paying attention because you're going to be end up hearing these names very soon, trust me. All right, number 19, we have got Veterans Memorial. Now, they've had a district change as well. They've had a district change as well, but I'm expecting them to step up. Now you've got a lot of seniors going in. You've got Haven Watson, you've got CJ Irvin, you've got Desmond Roberts.
Yeah, and a lot of good stuff could happen with that group, man.
Mm-hmm.
That group's been together working. I remember when they were, man, to me, you remember like they were babies, you know what I'm saying? But nah, they were, since they were like freshmen, 8th grade, working together, 7-on-7, you know what I mean? And those guys are going to give that district a run for their money, no doubt.
Right, and they've got a running back with a target on his back.
And why? Because they practice with each other.
Mm-hmm.
They spend time around each other, working with each other.
Exactly.
And that plays a huge part when you're building that continuity going into a season.
Exactly. And the attention that James Peoples is going to get is going to help the receivers out. They're going to be sneaking up 8 guys in that box. So those receivers need to get ready.
That kid, man, just head down and work, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Head down and work, bro.
Let's see who we got next. We have got Seguin. Hey, I'm going to just go ahead and say, yes, I put them in my top 25 so I don't get dozens and dozens of DMs from, hey, we're good too. Nah. Seguin is a good school and a very good squad. I just, got to make sure that I shout them out because they've got a receiver in Devin Matthews who is a monster and had over 1,000 yards last year, and I think is about to repeat that as well.
They got some DBs too that are young out there, and that are gonna make an impact as well.
So make sure y'all are watching out for Seguin. We got them at number 18. Number 17, we have got Somerset Bulldogs. I try not to be rude to them because they were our district foe back when I was in high school, but they have got a well coached squad. They are pretty much like I told Elijah before this live. I think they are going to be causing some issues in that district.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down. Actually, that's like a 4-way district. I don't mean to get off track here, but number 17, just keep coming up with different topics to talk about.
Yeah, for
sure. 17.
It's all good. Hey, we jot them down, baby, for later.
Somerset. Coming in at number 16, Southwest Legacy. Somerset, Southwest Legacy, and Floresville were like very comparable, and I have Floresville at number 15. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like of a round robin and putting them in there, in which and that's how I kind of do my pairings as well. If you can take each group of 5 and put those teams together to make games, they're probably all really good games. Yeah. And then if you try to put my 25 with like 10, is probably not a good game. Yeah. Like that's some of the formula that goes into this as well. So we've got Southwest at 16, Floresville at 15, a team with some athletes at number 14 in Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie's been bringing it though. Even when Galloway was running, now you're gonna have somebody else in the reins, and
Exactly.
it's still gonna be a oiled machine, like you mentioned earlier. When you got a good program, that's what it does. It continues running.
Right.
Just keep up the maintenance. That's
And
what it is.
once again, you got kids that are together.
Yeah, no doubt.
And not only in football, but baseball as well.
Baseball, soccer. I mean, they play for their town, bro.
Exactly.
They represent Bernie.
Exactly. So we have got the Bernie Greyhounds at 14. Number 13, we have got the Vokes of Lanier. Hey, I mean, they were the squad that either they snuck up on you, but you knew better and you shouldn't have rested on them, or they just ran over you.
They just play smash mouth football.
Yeah.
Bro. That's all they do is run it down your throat. A couple of play action passes, but they smash mouth football, old school football.
I will be looking forward to seeing them. As you can see, we have them ranked the highest out of SAISD. Yeah. Number 12 coming in, Central Catholic, the Buttons. What do you? I mean, I'm
the Buttons.
That's what it is.
The Buttons.
That's what it is.
The Buttons.
Hey,
man,
it's good to be back in studio, man.
Yeah, nah. I mean, Central Catholic.
Yeah,
they got a good leader out there, and Coach Mike Santiago. Man, he's gonna do what he can. Continue with the winning tradition out there.
Exactly. They've got some pieces. I mean, obviously,
Braden. You got Caleb.
Yep.
You know who's gonna have a good season and they don't really talk about too much is Gary Mejia.
Yes.
We're gonna be talking here at the later on in the football season. That dude's gonna be having a huge season.
Exactly. Both sides.
Both sides of the ball. Yeah. You got to, you're gonna have a young offensive line, but you got a guy in Nick who's gonna be doing pretty good. Ryan, I think as the season goes along, I think he should be able to.
That's the new quarterback, Ryan Perez.
Yeah, Ryan Perez. He has some good height, good strength in his arm. It's just, working on some other little things, but nothing that Coach Santiago can't help him out with throughout the season.
Exactly.
He does real great with the quarterbacks, and I think that they'll compete. They'll compete in that district.
All right.
But the thing that worries me is the first couple games is a possibility if they don't get things rolling right off the bat, where you can possibly find yourself sitting at 1-3. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be coming out.
You got to come in ready, because those lessons are going to be taught in those first couple
early, bro.
Yeah. All right, at number 11. Am I right? Bernie Champion. And that's a school that I try to tell some people, hey, if there's a school that's going to be in this top 10 that's going to have to see Bernie Champion, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, because well, let me hurry up and get to that.
Well, once again, I mean both Bernie schools are always competing, bro. They're always competing.
And if anything, you could say Bernie Champion's been, between them, not even it started, but Bernie Champion's been just a edge bit better.
Yeah, a couple of rounds more.
Exactly.
A couple of rounds
exactly.
more. I mean,
but there's some ball in Bernie.
Yeah, man.
There's some ball in Bernie.
Sir.
All right, let's get into this top 10. Number 10. Brandeis Broncos.
Brandeis is going to be, I think, a little different, man. I mean, Coach Bruce is there, of course, running his style of offense. But you're not going to have the names that you're used to hearing back in the days. You know what I mean? You got a lot of new guys, new faces. Of course, you got some guys that we've heard about back in the days, but I wouldn't say, I would say proven guys.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm looking for.
These are the guys that are gonna, be that chapter 2.
Yeah, no doubt.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, I want to see
because everybody knows chapter 1.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not gonna say his name. I said his name. I've been saying his name hundreds of times, but there's got to be a new leader, a new guy.
Yeah,
there.
No doubt.
I'm praying for health for them, because I think that You know, they've got a lot of talent, and they've just haven't had that. They've had an injury bug. So I want to make sure that when they're all together, you know, even with that style of offense, that talent's got to be shown.
Yeah.
And
all I know is they got to utilize both boys as far as Rafe and Wyatt.
Oh, exactly.
Those are
exactly.
Two guys. If you can
Exactly.
utilize both dudes, man, that's double trouble.
Yeah, and didn't even mention Jaden.
No, there's a lot more other ones, but I'm just saying you got to utilize those guys, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Jay's gonna get his.
So number 9, we have got Taft, which is the number. I think they're going to finish second in district behind Brennan. I was speaking about them before. I think they're going to be a nasty defensive squad again. I think TJ Andrews is going to be healthy and a different runner this season, and it's Elijah Cotter is on their squad as well, right?
Yeah, Elijah Collar's gonna have a big season as far as at cornerback. He's a real great athlete. Sane is gonna be stepping up as well.
Sane, that's right.
Doing some things
in the slot and being a running back as well.
Yeah. So I mean, you got other guys as well that are gonna be coming up, and I hope that they can keep it together.
Right.
You know, you got a lot of athletes, but you got to be able to keep it mentally.
Right.
And if you're able to do that.
And it's going to be, I think it's going to be tougher than last year, but you've got to be able to use some of that learning that you took from last year and take some of that salt from losing.
And you know, Castro, you can't forget Castro, man.
Oh, that's right.
Castro's a great kid, a kid under the radar. But that dude's a dog.
That's right.
Straight up dog, man.
You told me about it.
So between Castro, I think Carter, and Norales, man, that Sane. I mean, they're gonna have a pretty good little group right there that's gonna be rocking and rolling, man, with them guys. And like I said, once again, I just need one of them to step up, or Taft needs one of them to step up, and actually take some leadership. And the sky's the limit for that defensive group. Seriously.
Exactly. They could make some noise. Now, coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 8, hey, like I said, the same thing about Seguin. I want to hear nothing from Judson. Number 8, preseason. I know everybody's like, well, just 2 years ago you had us in 16 to start the season off. Well, I mean, y'all are at number 8, and everybody that was on that team is now seniors on this squad, and they are leading, and they have a new leader. Shout out to Coach Soto that is riding the rocket, writing the rocket. You know,
like shaping it up.
There you go. There you go. Things. Coach Soto is writing the rocket, and I love everything that I'm hearing from every player that sounds. I hate to say bought in, but they are on one accord with what Coach Soto is laying out for them.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of the battle for you to win coming in, and with the talent that they do have. I mean, endless names of potential.
And you know, we can talk about potential all we want, though.
Right.
You know, you and I know we can have all the potential, but if nobody buys into what you're doing,
right,
ain't nobody gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna win any games. But the thing, in this situation is Coach Soto was from that community. He was, part of Judson growing up.
Right.
So there's a different outlook. You know, he's been there. He was in their shoes. He was in that locker room. He was on that field. You know what I mean? So it's a different perspective when you're a player looking at a coach who's actually was in those shoes. And it's top it off, it's your head coach. It's not just anybody.
Right.
So I think him selling the program and everyone's buying into it. And I think it's going to be, Judson Rocket football again where it should be.
So shout out Coach Soto and the job you were prepping and doing for the Rockets has got a positive outlook from the city, and from the players that I've been talking to. Number 7, Reagan Rattlers. They are a consummate, well-coached team with Coach Hamilton. They've got Carson Green back. I think that is huge because they are a totally different team with him in there. And they are a good squad when he's not there, but it's something different when he's on that field with them. And they've got
I mean, hopefully he starts rolling too, Green. I
Yeah,
think he's gotten what he needs out of the way as far as the offers and getting noticed. Now, let's worry about football and let those other ones come in. You know
exactly,
what I mean? I think a lot of
exactly.
these kids that are seniors, that's what they worry about. And once you get a couple of offers, that stress gets off
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, and they just
Mm-hmm.
have
Get to
fun with
calm and focus.
calm and focus instead of trying to get something.
Right. Next up, number 6, we've got that school that I said should watch out for Bernie Champion, and that is Smithson Valley.
Yeah.
Smithson Valley last year had a second round exit, but they have moved down divisions to 5A. And of course, the immediate talk is, well, they're going to run through 5A. And I was like, well, I think seeing their district is going to be interesting and a test for them because you're going to have different styles of football played against you, and people already know who you are, so you're going to get everybody's attention and their effort.
I think we've talked about this man before. What's their head coach's
I
name?
know, I
You know what I'm
know, I
saying?
know.
What's his name again? Huh?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah, that
saying? So,
Ranger Shuffle,
yeah,
that
Mr. Ranger
Ranger
Shuffle is
Shuffle,
Mr. Ranger Shuffle, man. Nah,
and that's what. And I'm
he's
sorry.
always done a great job, man.
Yeah.
He's always done, no matter what kids he got, he adjusts. I mean, if they got to run the ball, they'll run the ball. If they got to
Mhm.
pass the ball, they'll pass the ball. But 99% of the time, Smith and Valley's just going to run it down your damn throat with them big boys up front. So don't look for them to be out of the picture at all.
Facts. Number 5, we have got New Braunfels. And this is a school that had a incredible shootout with Johnson. You know what? Yeah, they had a great game versus Johnson in that first one, in that first round playoff matchup last year. And they've got some talent everywhere, man,
Yep.
from defensive line to linebacker.
I mean, look what they did last year. They really didn't have no names, man. They made some
Right.
names along the way.
Right.
And I remember we went to it. It was at the Judson and New Braunfels game, and the way he
Yeah.
pulled it off, it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Coach Mangold is just he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was great seeing that game compared to when I went to their first one versus Smithson Valley, and I had New Braunfels, but just like you said, Coach Hill and his adjustments had that game looking totally different.
Yeah.
So shout out to New Braunfels. Number 4, we have got Alamo Heights. Alamo Heights. That is a squad that I think is interesting with their district change. I think it's a conversation for another time. They are at number 4, and they have got talent galore. They are going to be perceived to be head and shoulders above. But you want to see somebody in that district give them a swing and a challenge is what I'm thinking off top.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, I mean, it's Alamo Heights. They're going to be very skilled. They can play any style of football within that district.
Yeah.
So, I'm just hoping that there is some competitive games there, because with them up there at number 4 right now, that might be a year-long slot for them.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, we have got the Johnson Jaguars, and they are going to be one of those squads. And I failed to mention it earlier. Reagan and Smithson Valley, 7 and 6, play each other the first week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, man.
And Judson at number 8 plays these Johnson Jaguars at number 3 to start the season off.
Coach Soto's old school.
Exactly.
There's gonna be some,
And his understudy.
And I wouldn't say it's gonna be a bad, but it's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah,
man.
that's going to be a fun
going
game.
against your mentor, stuff
Exactly.
like that. You know what I mean? Players that used to put their heart, sweat, and tears into for Coach Soto on the other end.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then the current players, it's gonna be a good game.
Exactly. All right, let's just go ahead and do this number 2 and 1. 2 is Steele. 1 is Brennan. Is there anything else? I mean, honestly, just for the sake of time right now, I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
That's obvious. All right. So with that being said, that is your top 25. And my shades are crazy. That's the top 25 for the preseason right now. You know, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to take these off because I'm seeing myself.
Man, what's going on here? You fighting
myself
with the glasses, man?
Yeah, I'm fighting, man, and the lotions got me losing.
Man, Joe, what happened from Mr. Cool to Mr. Fighting with him?
No, he wasn't even Mr. Cool. Remember, he said he was Stevie Wonder.
Then we all, yeah, right before the show. Hey, what's going on, fellas? I'm gonna play this song for y'all right quick.
So, here is your top 25 preseason from Along the Wire. Let's roll into the second segment real quick. Thank you. We are now back after a short break, ready for segment 2. We are going to get into our offers to
Let's
beat them
do
on
this.
with Along the Wire, along with
Coach Gomez, and we're back at it for segment 2.
Yes. Here we go. So last year I did a quick study, used the Rivals top kids for the state, and went through city by city, and San Antonio was last by a very far margin. This year, it's not as bad, but let's get into it because there's actually been a change in who's number one now.
Yeah.
We have got Dallas at the top, 304 offers, and how I do this is their top 10 kids.
Yeah.
Their top 10 kids. What is the offer disparity from the top city to the last city? So Dallas at 304 offers within their first top 10 kids in the state, ranked by Rivals. Austin up from third, overtaking Houston.
Wow.
Actually, they overtook Dallas from last year. Houston is now third.
Now, does Dripping Springs get part of Austin?
No.
I
didn't. I didn't even add him in there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Austin at 230, Houston at 197, San Antonio fourth at 115.
Yeah.
Now, last year it was a scrape to get to 100.
Yeah.
This year there were kids in San Antonio ranked in the top 250 in the state. So last year there may have been a couple, but within the top 50 there's 4 this year.
Yeah.
So I mean that's honestly gonna bode well for these numbers. But as you can see, Dallas at 304, Austin at 230, Houston at 197, San Antonio at 115. So if you just break that down on to an average, the top 10 kid in Dallas is getting 30 offers, top 10 kid in Austin is getting 23 offers, top 10 kid in Houston is getting 19, while the top 10 kid in San Antonio was getting 11.
Yeah.
But that is improvement. It is improvement. Also, and that leads me in to say this: you've got to camp smart. There are goals that you can reach by being in the right place at the right time.
Correct.
And it's not, and actually I think it starts when you are a freshman. When you're a freshman and you want to go to these camps, knock your dream camps out the way.
Man, it's not even when it starts when you're a freshman, to be honest with you. The way I look at it is,
okay.
I mean, everybody has a different opinion, right?
Yeah, right.
So my thing is, come your freshman year, you should be grinding, bro. Head down. Don't even worry about the camps, because why are you going to go and record yourself with a 5 flat or a 5.1 or 5.2 stuff that they're going to jot down? You don't want none of that stuff leaking out. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is you continue grinding. Once you get some varsity film, that's the most important part, because you're going to go to a camp as a freshman with no varsity film. Not that it matters. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because there's sometimes kids do get offers with just measurables, whether it's because of track, because he's just a speed. You can't coach speed. This dude has speed. So there's kids who get offered based off of that, or, a long jump, high jump, or something like that, or crazy old triple jump. You never know. But at the end of the day, it's really just continue grinding, get bigger, get faster, stay on your grades, because that is really important. Stay on your grades. So then when you get
Definitely.
into that junior season, after your sophomore season, when you put
Mhm.
up, some good film, now I'm going out there representing myself in my school and my last name at this camp and busting my tail off to show what I can do.
Right.
And be realistic with yourself. There's nothing wrong with going to a D2 camp or, just a different
Exactly.
camp. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, like I said, man, just the hard work and determination that you're going to put into the process. That's what
Ex-
it boils down to. You can go
exactly.
to
And
every camp.
understanding what exactly how you said being realistic. You don't have to go to every school's camp. You can go to a mega camp, but when you are there, and Lord, now that I think about it, I left what I was gonna bring. There was a kid I met whose dad had his everything on a card, and this kid ended up getting an offer from the camp I was at. But he had his measurables, had his GPA, had his height, weight, positions, had a link to his profile and everything on this card, and was handing it out to coaches. Like, you got to understand how to approach these coaches and speak with them. And if some kids are nervous to go talk to coaches, but this is your chance. This is your
Yeah.
opportunity at these camps to make these relationships.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then understanding the relationships that you do have versus one that you're trying to stretch to attempt to make.
And there's a way to go about it as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything doesn't have to really be posted, but at least share it with those coaches, DM those coaches direct. I mean, there's kids that'll post stuff that they probably shouldn't be posting, but
Right.
they still post it,
And then there's kids that you wish would post who don't post.
Correct.
And it's
Correct.
like,
Yeah.
at least have a huddle link. You might not have to even post your offers and everything you get, but have a way for them to get to you if you are serious about playing college football and getting an education through it.
Yeah, and just, record yourself from start to finish, man.
Mhm.
If you can get the whole ball in the air and you catching it, that's a plus. Or if you can get the whole ball in there, of you throwing it and dropping back, that's what you want. So just try to get yourself some good film and sell yourself and see what it turns out to.
Yeah, and it's very important to and I don't know why I keep wanting to drive it home, but it's just very important to know who's truly interested in it. It's very important to know who's truly interested in you. And if the coaches are reaching out to you and they are DMing you, and it's not just a mass shout out, then those relationships are going to be totally different.
Yeah. And it's just being around, a coach who's going to guide you in the right direction, having that mentor or, being a part of a school that's gone through that process with players to help the players get to the next level. But, in reality, it really boils down to grades, man. And then because when
stay on them as a freshman, because every year we could name a kid that's just like the kid from the previous year.
Yeah, for sure.
Who I know that we've spoken with and tried to catch before
it was too late.
Yeah. And then when they come to you and it's like, oh, I get it.
And it's the same thing with training. You'll have kids that, I want it and I want to get to the next level. And then, they'll buy in for a week or two. And then next thing you know, they're out there just not even working anymore. Or they'll go throw, every now and then on their own. But it's not the same work, not the same competitiveness. You know what I'm saying? They want to get pushed. Yeah, that's what what it about boils down to. And then some of them will try to use the money excuse. But, you're out there still getting Jordans. You know what I mean? You're out there still, going out to eat fancy restaurants every night with your family. So it's like the family got to dedicate to. You got to have a good support system, man.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
And it's no bash to anybody.
Yeah,
but
it's
everybody has to buy in. Your mom got to buy in. Your dad got to buy in. There's sometimes the kids, a great athlete, and you still got to sell it to their parents. You know what I mean? You still got to sell it to the parents like, hey, this is the opportunity he has. This is the possibility that can come out of it. And you've seen lives change out of that possibility.
Big time.
You know what I mean? So, man, we're dropping nuggets for those who are truly listening to the show. If you just pay attention, there's little things that we've said that if you just go and take care of grades, which we talked about, build a relationship with your coaches, put in the work. That's the main thing. Go out
Yeah.
there and put in the work.
Yeah.
Not just whatever you do at school. You got to do stuff outside of school.
Right.
Surround yourself with elite athletes as
Right.
well, so that you can boost up your training. You know what I mean? So
And at a certain point in time, you've got to get with your classmates, as we
your
said
teammates,
before.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You've got to get with your teammates. You know, especially. I mean, that's you've got to get with your teammates, because that's the film that you're going to be putting out there for the schools that you seemingly want to attract.
Yeah.
So why would it make sense for you to not be in touch with them throughout the summer? Oh, I'm trying to win this starting quarterback spot, and your receivers ain't seen you.
Oh yeah, no doubt, bro.
You know,
I mean, it happens all the time. There's kids all over the city that
offensive linemen and defensive linemen should be working together. You know, like,
yeah, just pushing. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's flipping tires, whether it's pushing a sled, whatever the case may be, is just putting each other through that test.
mhm.
Going through those waters, those moments together. So when it goes, it transitions over to the field mentally. Remember when we're doing that back, man. Let's go. Stuff
Right.
like that. But only the few understand, bro. Only the few understand.
Hey, and Olive Branch, if y'all have any questions, y'all feel free to DM. But when I check back with a lot of people, and I'm like, hey, I told such and such, and it's like crickets. Well, then,
And then there's some kids who will pay attention to the process. You ask them to do this, or you ask them to show up here. You ask them, they're doing it. They're doing it.
Mhm.
They may not get the big offers, but they start getting a little bit of notice, and they'll
Right.
get what they got to get out of it. But
Right.
at
And
the
the
end,
second you get that notice from the work that you've put in, it should be motivating.
hell yeah, and then it makes them feel a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You start practicing with the chip on your shoulder. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to know, well, what did you do to get there?
Exactly.
Just work and bought into what I was told.
Exactly. I mean, the work's hard. The steps are there, though. The steps are there. And this is how this disparity gap between Dallas having almost 3 times the amount of offers of a San Antonio kid can be shortened. How serious are you taking yourself and your goal of wherever you want to go and getting an education through football?
Yep, agree with that. But all that, we'll see what happens. There was a lot of talk over the summer, over the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what pops off this coming fall.
Exactly. I mean, while we do say, like we said in the first segment, the future's bright.
Yep.
Hey, there was a lot of opportunity out there that while we saw a lot seized, there was also some that was missed. So,
But I mean, Dallas overtaking Houston, that says that someone's out there in Dallas pushing. You know what I mean? So Dallas,
and
is,
being I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing that.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And
come on, H-Town.
They were close, in H-Town. It's one of those things where it comes in waves.
Right.
It's gonna be this year, this city, probably next year, the next city. So in Austin's just growing in general in population, bro.
Yeah.
So
okay. All right. We are going to finish up here and move into our third segment. Just give us a minute and we will be right back. Yes, sir. We are back. It is B. Damone and
Coach G.
We are back for this third segment of Along the Wire. Once again, thank you for joining us. And we are going to get right into our release of 11 through 30 of our top 30 players in San Antonio for the class of 2023. So, you ready to see it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Number 11, we have got Haven Watson, DB, San Antonio Veterans. Great kid. He plays through the ball. He's an arm bar lock. So you want to make sure that the second that he has that, his head's possibly turned around waiting for that ball to come because you're making that same action.
Yep.
So physical DB, and he can play safety and corner. We have got number 12, we got Jaden Bailey, running back steal. Super quick, home run hitter, great vision, and elite speed. Actually, it was my top 15 are always going to be knocking at that top 10's door because my top 10, I'll talk about that later. Number 13, Mekhi Williams, linebacker steal. This kid has shot up the radar for me, seeing how he's putting in work in this offseason, coupled up with his spring game footage and the footage from last year that he put out there. I can see how he's jumped. He is a student. He's instinctual, a heavy hitter, and a complete tackler. He doesn't care you're his teammate in the spring game. I text him right after I saw his tape. I was like, hey, your teammate's got to make it. He said, that's my responsibility. Number 14, Aaron DeBose, wide receiver, Brennan. Catches through contact, sells routes well, and uses space well. He's one of them kids. He's 6'4", 6'5", and you would think if you get up on a kid like that you might be able to slow him down, but the space you give him is the space that he uses to get by you. So he doesn't even really get challenged a lot, because I think kids think he's just going to blow him off the line, but hey, step up and challenge him.
Yeah, and it helps out that your brother's a quarterback and you got continuity from playing in the backyard since he was a kid.
Exactly. All right, we are going to number 15, running back TJ Andrews. I mentioned him earlier when we were talking about Taft. Physical, runs through arm tackles, falls forward, and is eager to get north and south. That's his biggest strength, is going north and south. If you get him going east and west, I'm not going to talk about any deficiencies, but he's a north and south guy that is definitely going to be a tough tackle.
Yeah, no, he has the physique, man. Big dude.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Next clip. We have got Rhett Anderson at 16, Alamo Heights. Great hands, good speed, clutch performer, and is consistent.
Yeah, he is.
Everywhere this kid is supposed to be on time in his routes, he is. I've seen him at a couple of camps this summer, and it's just more the same. And the weird thing about it is, you don't ever tell a school, hey, you should offer this kid. But there's camps I've seen him at in which he's been performing like head and shoulders above, and it's almost like, all right, so what does he have to do?
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, number 17, we have got Colton Thomason. And this is a Smithson Valley offensive lineman. I know everybody in the city knows him. I actually wanted to ask you about him. He's had a incredible weight change, and he's got healthy weight, great size, 6'7", 300 pounds. I have good hands, uses length well. He's focused, and he's a multi-position offensive lineman.
So what was the question, babe? Talk to me.
Speaking to, I put focus because for him to be at the state of shape that he's in right now,
yeah,
what does that tell a college coach?
He's trying to play when he shows up, But the kid, hell, he's been on varsity since his freshman year, man. So I'm sure as he went along, he shed a lot of the so-called baby fat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And now he's still starting to develop into the young man that he's gonna be.
Right.
And then of course putting in the work that he's been putting. Of course, there's been some clips out there of him actually putting in the work, shedding some of that weight, putting on some muscle. It doesn't hurt with his size.
Exactly.
But yes, that shows me as a recruiter that, hey, man, he's trying to come in and be effective right away. And, hey, being down the street, man, from A&M, I'm sure he has been to the home games, man. I'm sure he's turned up to try to be on that field, bro.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to 18. We have got Jalen and Gardner. I remember when we both first saw this kid. I have him as an athlete, 50-50 mismatch, and he's a tough tackle after the catch.
Yep.
This is a kid that, you could definitely see him making some noise at TMI. Just get this kid the dang ball.
Yeah.
Just get him the ball and let him do his thing. He's committed to UTSA. As you can see, I've been putting these college kids, the ones who are committed to these schools, in their college uniforms.
Yeah.
Purposefully. So, let's see. 19, we've got Mr. Alex Wyatt. This is one of those receivers you were talking about at Brandeis. He's a tight end, uses his body well, big target and soft hands. I saw him at one of the first workouts I went to, and he torched pretty much every 7-on-7 team here in the city of San Antonio. And the UTSA coaches were very happy to see that film, as he does have a UTSA offer, as he plays for prime time, and I think he's going to make a lot of noise at Brandeis this year. He is number 19, Alex Wyatt. Number 20, we have got Connor Vincent, and I know, and I don't care, but people are going to be like, why is he in your top 20? He runs a 4.4. He's a Swiss Army knife. Speed, hands, plays quarterback, and he plays to his speed.
Yeah.
And he's been killing at all these camps that I've seen. And he plays quarterback. And if in their situation that they have to have a weapon like him,
Yeah.
if anything goes, he would just took his team to the playoffs last year at quarterback. And he's a big enough teammate and skilled enough to be the teammate and know that he's a threat somewhere else that can make the team a better team.
No doubt.
That's awesome.
That's a humble kid.
That's awesome. All right, next up, let's go to 21. Barrett Edelman. Barrett Edelman, and I hope I've been saying the schools. I have, right? Barrett Edelman, offensive lineman, Lavernia. Bulldozer, stunning hands, picks up multiple blocks. When you look at this kid's film, when I say stunning hands, it's like when you just hit somebody in the chest and they stop and they were on a full rush.
Yeah.
And it allows him time to reset. You are done.
Yeah, for sure.
You are done. That is 21, Barrett Edelman. Number 22, we've got Mr. Leighton Ladd. And I actually stopped his film after 5 plays because he plays with his hands in the grass or standing inside and outside on the D line. But when I saw him drop in coverage and pick up running backs, I was like, this kid is 6'5", almost 250 pounds.
What you say, man? He's changing to a power forward, running down the court.
Exactly.
Huh.
You know, once again, one of these kids in New Braunfels, and they've got some 24s too. So this is Leighton Ladd at number 22. Let's go to 23. Philip Gallegos, the Rice commit, as you can see, offensive lineman, Somerset, like we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
He is a finisher, looks to get to the next level, nasty, good feet, uses his size well. In his film, when he finishes off the first 2 guys, I saw him running towards the goal line looking for his safety or somebody who wasn't paying attention to pick up as the play was going to his right.
Yeah.
And, like, you love seeing that as a coach and as a offensive lineman. If you can get 3 blocks, 2 pancakes, and I'm looking for possible.
Sure.
Exactly. Let's move on to number 24. We have got Jameer Dudley, defensive back and wide receiver from Clemens, who I spoke with earlier today, and he's going to be playing more positions than that. You might see him at up to 5 to 6 different positions. He's a big athlete and physical, and he's the consummate teammate, willing to do whatever it takes in wherever his coach has him put. He's got a Abilene Christian offer right now and a couple others. Jameer Dudley, Clemens. Let's go to 25. Sean Ramos, quarterback, Pleasanton. Pocket presence, athlete, anticipation, and accuracy. I don't know what else you want from a quarterback.
Yeah, he can throw the ball.
Exactly. And his film has one of my favorite plays. His second clip is like a 70-yard touchdown run in which he's pretty much sacked by 3 guys in the backfield and then happens to run up the middle, then hit the sideline and burn 2 other guys who are like 30 yards down the field from him. So athlete as well. I could keep talking about this kid, but QB Pleasanton, Sean Ramos at number 25 in San Antonio, Texas. Let's go to 26. At number 26, we have got, what do you want to call him, a linebacker, defensive back?
I'd say more of a linebacker.
Linebacker from Central Catholic, Caleb Harrison. Turnover machine, forces fumbles, scores on defense, is a decisive tackler. When he's made up his mind that he's going to hit you, he can hit you from range as well.
His football IQ makes up for his size, bro. That dude can ball. He can ball.
Definitely. I messaged him today too, and I was like, dude, like, I just watch your film sometimes just because you've got to be thinking out there on the field. For him to have all those turnovers, what do you have, like 10 turnovers forced last year?
Yeah, they had a lot of turnovers last year.
And like 6 defensive touchdowns, like in all different ways. It's not, I mean, from tackling, stripping, interception, picking up
he
a
knows
fumble.
The situation
like,
too, and it's like he did it always at the right time. You know what I mean? He knew the situation.
Yeah.
He knew it was like state. You know, it was either down or distance. It was just amazing to see the effort that he put into it and just like I said, just having that IQ just to
And
think of a
and
heads
those are
up.
players that coaches are like, make sure you're looking out for this kid.
Yeah, he's a heads up player
Exactly.
for sure. He's a for sure.
Exactly. All right, let's go to 27.
And you know what the most important part of it all, like
Huh.
what's more impressive? I got some feedback. You got a little feedback?
It's kind of choppy.
Yo, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So the most impressive part to me is just the dude played with a torn meniscus, bro. His knee was torn up, at all that. He had a jacked up knee and still played.
It's crazy. Some of that film that you see, and then when you hear a story like that,
Yeah,
it makes it even
his
more
knee
impressive.
was just tore up and still played with it, bro.
Number 27, we have got Nikos Varelis, a running back from Clark High School. Here we have him on his visit to Army.
Mm-hmm.
Explosive out the backfield. His very first play that you see on his huddle. He has hands, can also operate the offense in Wildcat. If they need to do something or they find a weakness in the defense, he can run the Wildcat offense for Clark. He's a tough tackle in the open field, and he's a speedster, man.
Yeah, man, great hands, like you said. He's a speedster, smart kid, real coachable. Kid's a sponge. I mean, there's nothing bad about that kid, man. Any
Right.
coach that picks that kid up is going to get better, man.
Right.
If they add him to the roster, they're going to get better. So I look forward to see what Nico does. I mean, comes from a great family as well.
Yeah.
Shouts out to his family. But overall, man, that kid can really play ball.
Definitely. All right, let's go to 28. Another running back. We have got Shaston Golden from Davenport. Didn't we say we're going to mention Davenport?
Yeah.
Davenport changes angles at the same speed, uses stiff arm very well, patient, and a endurance runner. Let me break that down. When I'm looking at his film, this is the first time I've ever appreciated a kid putting something in slow motion, because I can't stand when y'all put stuff in slow motion on your huddle film. But he had the same play going again, and at the same speed at which he was running, he cut from left to right, and the linebacker was lost. So he lost no speed in making the cut from left to right. Youthful joints. That's something that, as you get older, you might not be able to do. And then when he has defenders around him, he uses a stiff arm well. And when I say a endurance runner, he stays at his top speed for a very long time. Very long time. So that's Shaston Golden, running back Davenport. Let's move to 29. Recently committed to Sagoop, we have got David Miller, defensive back from Davenport. Another kid, kind of like Caleb Harrison when it comes to getting these turnovers. He makes plays on the ball, he gives up his body, and he comes downhill and hits. Like, I just love seeing somebody who was actually playing behind their pads and giving it their all for their teammate. He had a tackle versus Dalton Brooks, and I was like, and the big quarterback from Shiner.
Yeah.
And when he hit him and Brooks went down, I was like, I had to go back and look at that play again, because he sacrificed himself and Brooks just dropped. So, like, seeing that amount of effort versus a kid like that, that's almost a 300-pound running back. I mean, I might be exaggerating by like 40 pounds, but still, that's a big kid. All right, let's move on to number 30. Ethan Dranowski, defensive lineman from Kennedy. Relentless, uses his leverage very well, has great strength, and plays on the inside and edge. Many plays of this kid, you are going to see him disrupting a handoff in the backfield. He has a clip in which he sheds a block, beats the running back, and then gets to the quarterback all within a couple of seconds. So this kid's driven, and he has a motor that just keeps going and going. Energizer Bunny, there you go. So Ethan Dranowski at number 30 for Kennedy, and that is the along the wire 11 through 30. So let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think. That is 30. 11 through 30. So that top 10 will be dropping that I was trying to transition into the Dr. Dre next episode. But yeah, so that top 10 will be dropping next episode. Just know this about the top 10. When I do my top 10, it is players that are no doubt a advantage for them being on your squad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what it is. And
Game changers.
game changers, definitely. All right, so this has been episode 139. It was great being back in the studio. You got any last words before we cut out?
Man, it was great seeing y'all again.
Yep.
And hopefully y'all enjoy the show. We might have been a little rusty, but it's all good, man.
Hey,
We're gonna
yeah.
have fun with it.
Yeah.
Just like always, man. If you ain't having fun with it, why you doing it?
Exactly. Hey, so make sure y'all follow us on Twitter. Follow me at BDamone. Follow Coach Gomez.
At, on the top of the screen.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta say it no more, baby. My
Exactly.
boy Joe took care of me, so I ain't
Where's
gotta say it no more.
Right here.
Yeah, just like
Right there.
man.
Right there.
Right here.
Right there. Follow me at BDamone on all social medias. And once again, thank you. We are back at Level Up Productions, ready for this 2002-2023 season,
Excited,
baby.
man. Excited.
Hook 'em, birds up, 210. We out.